No nonsense gin drinking. All gin and a surprising amount of nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman. Today, my friends, we have a very unique little gin for you. I'm very excited to bring this to you today. It's not one that's going to be well known and sort of publicised and everything. So this is kind of a something special, okay? This, my friend, let me introduce you to it. This, my friends, is called Great Bustard Gin. Now, if you're thinking to yourselves, what on earth is a Great Bustard? Wow, Great Bustards are a type of bird. It's not a flightless bird, however, it is the heaviest flying bird, so they're quite substantial. Okay, so they don't really like to fly that much. They prefer to run around and scurry and frolic around on the ground. Now you might be thinking to yourselves, well, that's very interesting, Freeman, but what the hell's that got to do with gin? Why is there a Great Bustard Gin? Wow, this is from the wonderful mind of Hugh at the Downton Distillery, which I've featured before on this show. He created the Explorer's Gin. He also created the whole James May's gin range, James Gin. And the reason he created this gin is because the Great Bustard used to frolic and run around all over the plains of southern England, around where the Downton Distillery, Hughes Distillery, is based. However, unfortunately, in latter years, they've not been frolicking quite so much because they were hunted to extinction in the 19th century, which is very, very sad because it's a lovely looking little bird. It's not that little, to be honest. I mean, I'm not hugely into birds. As birds go, looks nice. I like it. Then in 1998, a man called David Waters decided to bring the bustard back. He brought the bustard back to Britain. You have to be careful how you say that. And Hugh decided to get involved and help him out. So a percentage of every Great Bustard Gin sold goes to the Great Bustard charity to try and bring back the bustards. So that's a lot of bustards in one sentence. But anyway, I think it's a real admirable thing. I really like it, and we're going to try it today. And hopefully some of you guys, not just some random guys. You are definitely not random. You are very specific kind of guys, the people that watch this show. But my point is, hopefully you will buy some of this and help to contribute to the charity and bring the bustards back to Britain. That's a good slogan actually for the campaign. You can keep that, David. You're welcome. So my friends, I say we fanny around no longer, because there was a fair bit of fanny around in that introduction, and we find out a bit more about it on the old website, shall we? The gin celebrates Wiltshire's iconic bird, the Great Bustard, which is critically endangered. The gin celebrates Wiltshire's iconic bird, the Great Bustard, which is critically endangered. This exclusive gin has been created in collaboration with David Waters, Great Bustard Group chairman, and is distilled with 12 botanicals, including, now this is good, herbaceous plants that are part of the Great Bustard's diet. So you'll be literally eating like a bustard. These include wild rocket, alfalfa, red clover and yarrow, all found in the Wiltshire Downs and the Salisbury Plains, which is of course where the Downton Distillery is based. Monies from every 70 centilitre bottle is donated to the Great Bustard organisation, which is excellent. Good work, Hugh. So my friends, this is a really, I think you'll agree, quite an intriguing little gin here. I've never heard of those ingredients in gins before, so this could literally go anywhere. This is what this show is about, bringing you, as well as the well-known gins, so you can get my opinion on them, just finding hidden little gems like this one. This is great. Well, I hope it is anyway. Let's find out. Now then guys, before we go any further, let me tell you about my wonderful sponsors. They've been sponsoring my show for a while now, and they are called ZBiotics. Now if you haven't heard of these, they're basically a game changer, okay? So they are a pre-alcohol probiotic drink. You drink one of these before you go out, and the next day you will be bouncing back to recovery a little bit quicker than usual. Combined, of course, with responsible drinking, it's not a miracle cure, but they really, honestly, I only advertise products on this show that I really like and I believe really work, and this definitely falls into that category. So if you want to order some today, the good news is you can also get 15% off your first order if you click on the link below this video. So head over there, my friends, get some ZBiotics in your life today. So do we have a cork? We do, of course, as a cork, as with most of Hugh's gin. So we know what that means, my friends. It's the Cork Test. The Cork Test! So do we have a squeak? The Explorer's Gin was an absolutely extraordinary squeak, the likes of which we've never heard before on the show. Let me just peel that off. There we go. So here we go. No squeak at all. Just a silent, well, nothing. So we'll go for the full pull. Here we go. I'm going to put it on the, got a feeling if I did that, I was going to be covered in gin at some point. So here we go. Oh, not bad. A very sort of triumphant, little confident, but sort of a quietly confident, much like I imagine the Great Bustard to be. I don't know. Is it quietly confident? Who knows? I don't know. I should have researched it. Anyway, it doesn't matter, as we know, because it's just a bit of fun. So let's get the old glass off the floor, shall we? I don't know why I store it down there anymore. Anyway, looks like a nice sort of open sort of flange on the top of there. So I think we're going to get a clean pour today. absolutely spotless. Excellent. So let's get a nice whiff of this, shall we? Here we go. Ooh, interesting. I don't think I poured enough in there, to be honest. Let's just top that up. There we go. Nice glug glug sound as well. So here we go. Let's whiz that round a little bit, shall we? Release the aromas. That's better, my friends. So, ooh, a very light and sort of delicate collection of flavours in there. Very, as you'd probably imagine, herbaceous. I feel like I'm out in the Wiltshire countryside and just sort of in the middle of some sort of grass sort of blowing like that. That's blowing grass. You can tell I've been to drama school, can't you? But you know what I mean? It's kind of like I feel like I'm in the countryside breathing in a load of botanicals. That's why people tune into this show, for the, the gritty, intricate details. Let me go a little bit further for you. It's kind of just like a delicate kind of a nice waft of sort of herbaceous qualities with a sort of a nice sort of tinge of oranginess was what I was trying to say. There's a waft of sort of soft oranginess in there, and almost sort of like a subtle hint of almost kind of a delicate sprinkle of spice in there as well, but you get the feeling it's quite of a delicate gin. One you can't be too sort of, you have to be quite gentle with, you don't want to break it. Who'd want to break a gin? It sounds terrifying. However, one thing's for certain, I am definitely going to drink it. So let's not fanny around any longer. Let's get some down the old, mouth. So marry it with a bit of tonic. There we go. Beautiful. Let's give this a go. Now, and of course, by the way, thank you to all my wonderful patrons and members of this show for literally paying for the gin and helping me to survive and just about so I don't have to, bankrupt myself to do this show. You are all absolute gentlemen and scholars. I salute every last one of you. This, my friends, is Great Bustard Gin. One of the, probably one of the most uniquest gins we've ever had on this show. I say cheers. Oh, now then, gin lovers, that is a very eloquent and elegant even. What's the difference, eloquent and elegant? Not much really. I think they're basically the same thing, but I think both of them apply to this gin. Very, very light and just really sort of very easy to drink. Sort of a real sort of herby sort of start to it. Almost sort of like a sort of a beautiful, almost like a hint of rosemary in there, I think. And I can't think of anything that's had rosemary added to it that I've ever tried that hasn't been wonderful. There's also, it's a bit of a journey. Oh yes, here we go, it's still going. So after that kind of herbaceous start, that kind of dissipates and gives way to the citrus, which usually comes second whenever you try a gin. A nice sort of subtle, everything's just ever so subtle, but not to the point where it's too subtle. It's just subtle enough to still give it a bit of a buzz to it, It sounds kind of weird, but it kind of fits for me. A bit of a sort of a nice sort of, gives it the sort of the buzz. And then it's the sort of a soft, natural sweetness, which is kind of needed when you've got a kind of a real kind of herby sort of herbaceous sort of start to it with the sort of the rosemary essence I was talking about. That sweetness balances it off really nicely, but again, ever so delicately. Then it finishes with a kind of a lingering sort of a floralness to it, a sense of sort of, again, inhaling that kind of floral sort of sense when you're out in a field with long flowy grass, like the beginning of Gladiator when it's all flowing like that. I like to create images for this show. But that kind of just tails out in the aftertaste, and it just, altogether, they work really, really nicely. And again, I always talk about the balancing, and I think Hugh is the master of balancing. They just work so well, but so soft and so elegant and delicately. That is it's a wonderful. I tell you what, if that's the sort of things that the Great Bustard is eating, I'm a bit jealous of the Bustard, the bloody lucky Bustard. Little bit lower on the ABV as well. It's down to 40%, but that kind of adds to the sort of delicate nature to it, I think. So I think we should. I think this is going to be a great neat one as well. Actually, judging by the Explorer's Gin, which you also made, I actually really enjoyed that neat. As I say, I prefer it to gin and tonic, but. Well, let's just crack on and find out, shall we? So let's get the old no-nonsense gin drinking mug in play. Don't forget to go and buy yours if you haven't already by clicking on that bit below. Let's get it in there. Oh yes, gin out of a mug, my friends. That is the height of sophistication. Here we go. Okay. Definitely slightly more of a, as you'd imagine, a bit more of a kick to it now. It's a very smooth sort of quality. It sort of glides, it's sort of borrowed a little bit from the Explorer's Gin and that sort of smoothness. It seems to be kind of Hugh's signature, I think. It's very, very nice. The herbaceous qualities really come to the fore a little bit more. The aftertaste really lingers. It's almost kind of, very kind of a sense of real, just sort of, almost a sort of, this doesn't sound right, but sort of, almost a sort of a sweet grassiness to it, and it sort of lingers in the back of the throat. Almost a sort of the smell of fresh kind of hay, almost like fresh hay when it's been cut in the fields. I know not many, this is the farmer in me coming out now, not many of you will have smelt that, but if you ever wanted to, or ever wondered what it smelt like, get a bit of that, and well, it's like that. Not sure if that's exactly what Hugh was going for, but I'm trying to paint pictures in the air here. But that is a very, very nice, and in fact, it's a little bit weaker as well, makes it even easier to drink straight out the mug. Now, then, money-wise, this is going to be 40 English pounds, which for a smaller distillery, non-mainstream distillery, is bang on what I like to pay. So I am very happy to pay that. Such a lovely, easy to drink gin. That is excellent, easy to drink, and even easier to pay £40 for. So my friends, as I said before, I like to bring the lesser known gins to you on this show sometimes, and this, it epitomises that. And this is what you can find. This is the beauty of gin. There are so many hidden little gems. People write to me every week. We're trying to get these, different kind of weird and wonderful gins. They're literally, it's never ending. But this one, my friends, have a look on the Downton website. I'm not allowed to put a link to anything where you can sell alcohol because it's against YouTube's guidelines. But it's pretty easy to find the Downton Distillery. If you are in the country or able to be in the country at some point, this one has got to be one of the most wonderful hidden little gems I think I've probably featured on this show. It's really, really nice. And to top it all off, it's all for a good cause. So I feel like a real strong affinity with these bustards now. So if you want to help a bustard out, get on the distillery. I don't know why that's so funny. Get on the Downton Distillery, order yourself a bottle now. They also featured it on, I think it was Sunday Brunch. Let me check. Yes, Sunday Brunch. If you don't know what that is, that's a TV show here on a Sunday where they sort of, I don't know, it's all to do with food and drink and stuff. They featured it on there. I'll put the link to that video below. Also, James May did a reaction to it as well, so I'll put a link in the section below as well. But in the meantime, please try some of this if you're able to, because it's a genuine real treat and a lovely real unexpectedly good gin. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you have, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. And if you want to support me to help me going with a small donation every month, then head over to the Patreon page or click the join button below this video to become a YouTube member. But until next time guys, you all know the drill. Take care, stay safe. Thank you to all my patrons and my members, and of course, keep drinking the gin.